Hello. Hey guys. Happy Monday. So I decided um, to do a little video today, but I'm actually going to get ready while I talk to you guys because I am going out with my family shortly. And I also wanted to just get this video done. So I figured I would do it at the same time. So I wanted to talk today about one of my plant medicine experiences and how it was a big awakening and rebirth for me. It's just a really cool, interesting story. And I feel like everyone really liked my shamanic breathwork journey because that was something really different too that you don't always hear people experience. So I thought this would be a really fun one too to talk about. Okay, so this was back in towards the end of summer, I believe, in 2017. I had met my husband already and was getting ready to move out of Los Angeles and move down to San Diego with him. And before I did that, two of my girlfriends and I wanted to do this plant medicine journey together. Now, I'm not going to directly say because I don't want to, get in trouble or whatever with YouTube, but there's a lot of different plant medicines out there. This one was one that a lot of people seem to do. A fungus one, if you catch what I'm saying. And I had done it before, but this one was unlike any experience I've ever had with plant medicine in general. It was such an eye-opening experience and it was a big rebirth for me, which I had already experienced with losing my hair, getting out of my bad relationship. And this was kind of like the icing on the cake and just kind of like that top off to that experience of my life. And almost like an opening of me stepping into the new version of myself and just this new life and this new chapter. And it was amazing. So it was me and two of my girlfriends, and one of them really needed this experience too as well and was kind of searching for things like me. And my other girlfriend had recently done it and didn't feel like she was really super called to it, but still wanted to be there and join in. And it didn't really do much for her, even though it was a large amount, which I think looking back was really good because I think she was more there to be like a trip mother and a facilitator and kind of watch over us a little bit and make sure everything was okay. And that's exactly what she did. And it was really cool too because afterwards when we talked about it the next morning, she had some things that she watched and witnessed that were amazing that I couldn't tell were going on with me because I was in the middle of experiencing it. And it was really cool to go back and talk about. So we did this at a friend's apartment complex that she had a pool and hot tub on her roof that like no one ever used. So we started off like inside, but we ended up doing the whole thing up on the roof, which I think was really quintessential being like outside, even though we were in like the city of LA, we were still like outside in the elements. I did basically my whole experience in the water, which can be very dangerous. Again, I had her there watching. Everything was fine, but it's not something I 100% recommend people go do. It just worked out, right? So I remember early on when things started to take effect and work, I had to get in the water. It was like, I just knew it. I was like, I gotta get everything off of me is how I felt. So when I was really sick with my illness, and I had that horrible skin infection where my hair fell out, I always had this like tight, wound, like coiled, like it's really hard to describe, but I always had this feeling like in my skin, all over my body of this like tightness that was painful. And it happened with when my skin started to heal. And I got into the water, and first I just started to do breath work, which again, this breath work took me to a new level when it was added in with this plant medicine. So I remember I was like, I just got to get in the water. I just feel like I have to get something off of me. So I got in the water and I floated. And I remember closing my eyes and I just started to utilize my Ujjayi breath, which we use in yoga. Deep inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. I'm sorry, not exhale through the mouth, exhale through the nose. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And it's got that audible sound. It fills you up. And I started to do that, and I started to feel, as I would inhale my breath, I could feel my body float up in the water. And then when I would exhale and empty my breath completely out, I would float down a little bit. And I didn't have much going on in my mind. That sounds funny, but I had a clear head, and that's what I concentrated on. And that's all I was concentrating on, was just the breathing in and out and feeling myself. And I'm after going through that experience with my skin and everything, I was so in tune with like how my body felt and everything, like just how everything felt. So I could really feel myself moving up and down in the water, and it was a really crazy feeling. And it got, as I kept going and going with it, it got more intense. Like I would float up even higher, and then I'd come down even lower and higher and lower. And as I was doing this, I'd start to feel like a tightness creep through my body to a certain spot. Like it would creep up to like my armpit and shoulder, and I'd feel like I'd have to go like this. And then I'd feel it on the other side, and then I'd feel it in my chest, and I'd feel it like in my neck. And I would start doing these motions that I wasn't thinking about what I was doing with my body. I was literally just feeling the tightness run through my body, like this weird energy. And I would move my body in these poses to release that feeling from that area of my body, if that makes sense. And while I'm doing this, I'm floating in the water, and I'm just breathing and breathing, and my eyes are shut. At one point I started to get cold, and I remember opening my eyes a little bit and just like getting up out of the water and just going straight over to the hot tub and getting in the hot tub. It was a big one, and doing this again, closing my eyes and floating, and just start moving. Now at this point, I remember being able to inhale my breath, and I would float up to the tippy top of the water. Like literally I was floating on top of the water. It looked like I was just laying on top of the water. And then I would exhale out my breath, and I remember being able to feel the water come up to my lips. I'd go, and the water would come to here. And then I go, and I go all the way up to the top. Now, later on the next day, I talked to my girlfriend, and she was like, Regina, it was unreal watching you. She's like, you were vibrating and floating. She's like, I was watching you go under the water to the tip of your lips and float all the way up. She's like, it was something I've never seen before. She's a big yogi. She's like, the breath work you were doing, it was crazy. She's like, and you were doing all these wild poses with your body. Now, my other girlfriend, who was like crying, going through all these things and having this big release of trauma, to do with just different things in her life, she ended up getting in the hot tub at one point because she was cold as well. And she said that she remembers sitting in the hot tub and like going through everything, experiencing things. And she said she had her eyes closed, and she saw this like glowing light pulsating behind her eyes. And she opened her eyes, and she said she looked at me, and she saw this glowing light coming out from between my legs, from my womb. And she said it was like this beautiful bright light that was just like coming and shooting out of me, and that I was like glowing and floating. And that she's like, I stared at you, and I was just like, is that Regina? Like, what is happening? She's like, it was like you were, I don't even know. She's like, it's like you were just somewhere else. She's like, and it was this beautiful angelic light. And me, I didn't stop moving until it felt like I was completely uncoiled. And that's what I felt like I was doing. I felt like I was uncoiling something off of my body. I don't know if I was releasing some sort of dark energy from my ex, some sort of entity thing, attachment. While my eyes were closed, I saw visions of glowing geometric shapes. I saw beautiful visions of like rainbows and bright lights and just really beautiful scenes, but a lot of glowing geometric shapes that were moving. And at one point, I just remember my body feeling like it was enough. Like I finally did whatever last pose I needed to do with this breath work as I'm going up and down in the water. And I felt like I got the full release like out of my spine. And I mean, this could have been a kundalini awakening too, because I was uncoiling something from my spine, and I could feel the energy coming up and out. And then I remember just stopping and sitting up and opening my eyes. And I remember turning my head, this sounds so crazy, and looking at my girlfriend and being like, I know what to do now. And it's really interesting thinking about this right now, because I remember saying to her that I need to help people and I need to help heal people. And that's what I was going to do. And it's funny because this is a theme that keeps popping up in my life of helping people and healing people. And that's literally why I started this YouTube page, to just start talking and hoping that it would come to me exactly what I was going to do, to help people and to help heal them and all of that. How, because I wasn't really sure, and I just thought I'm just going to start telling my story and talking and my experiences. And it's interesting too, because again, this was like breath work that I was doing. And both times I had these rebirthing, healing, you know, intense spiritual experiences. Yes, one was with plant medicine, but one wasn't. But they both had breath work. And I just surrendered to it both times. I surrendered to the experience. I called in this experience to help me find my way and to realign me with my path and to give me some clarity on life and my life's mission and purpose and next steps in life and what was going to happen. And, you know, spirit brought that to me. The plant medicine brought that to me the first time. The second time, you know, I believe it was just spirit and my breath, because, you know, breath is life. That's what fills us. And yeah, it was insane. I just remember being so happy afterwards and excited and energized and like ready to like start my life. I felt so aligned and just like I knew what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm going to go to San Diego. I'm going to start my life there. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm meant to do. I'm going to help people. I don't know how, but it will come to me. And just like, it was just like unlike any other plant medicine experience I've had. You know, I've had some great experiences, but like this was a spiritual one, very spiritual, which can happen. And, you know, I think it's important that people realize like plant medicine is not supposed to be like a party. It's, you use it when you feel called to it and when you feel like it's something that you need in life, and it can really heal you, release trauma, help you realign with your purpose and give you clarity in life. And it was just crazy. I mean, I think about how I did that floating with the breath work. And, you know, it's something I do a lot now when I'm in water, if I'm in the pool or even in the ocean and I'm floating, I close my eyes and I go right to my breath immediately, and I can do it. And maybe it's because I am a yogi and I am a yoga teacher and I have very strong lungs, but I can feel myself moving up and down. And I always think like, oh man, I wish I had like a couple hours alone to just float in this water and breathe and meditate, because I feel like water also too is like such a portal. And I think that also kind of probably brought it up to another level. The experience in general, just being in that water, it was really crazy and it was really special and it was really beautiful. And I think it's a great example of how plant medicine can be, if it's used in the proper way, it can really help you, and it can do some really amazing things. Video is not as long as I thought it was going to be, but there's many tools. Just a reminder, there's many tools that we can utilize on our healing journey. And I think they will present themselves and they will become available to you when it's the right timing for you. I don't think you should, seeking is good when you have questions and you're seeking answers, you know, you're like, oh, I'm seeking answers in my life. I want to see this person who's a psychic, or I want to start meditating because I have questions. And, but I think there are some things like plant medicine that will present themselves to you. And when it feels right in your heart and it feels right in your gut and your soul, because you got to do this with like people who know what they're doing. You got to do the right kind. You got to do it with the right people. You can become very vulnerable during it, and you don't want to be around any type of heavy, negative, dark energy. You want to be with like light bearers and light bringers and the right people, right? So it's got to feel right in all aspects. And then just, again, like breath work and meditation, taking walks outside, trying to find, you know, the beauty in the world and in life, making a list of everything you're grateful for, saying your prayers of gratitude. There's just so many things we can do. Dancing, singing, I love singing. It's such a release for me. It's such a release. Sometimes I cry my eyes out. Sometimes they're sad tears. Sometimes they're happy tears. There's just so many things that we can do that help raise our vibration, help bring happiness back into our lives, and help us heal, right? So just a gentle reminder about all those things you can utilize in your life to make yourself feel better, and to better yourself, and to help you find your path, step into your power, and become the best version of yourself. If you have any questions or anything, as always, comment below. I greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe, especially since I am a new channel. Every little like, comment, and subscriber means the world to me. I hope you guys have a great Monday and a great week. Sending out love and light from my heart to you.